let's talk about some goals. Hey everyone, it is Ryan Fletcher here. I am back with a video about my 2020 author goals. I realize that I'm still pretty new to this. As I said, you'll kind of all be taking this journey with me, so welcome, and I hope it's not too bumpy of a ride. So my hope is that in early 2021, I will be able to look back, or late this year, I will be able to look back on this video and be like, yeah, I've achieved all of that stuff and more. In fact, everything's been amazing and I've had no hiccups whatsoever, but somehow I don't think that that's going to be the case. Given that it's going to be my first year publishing and my first time self-publishing and my first time being published by a traditional author with my short story. So here we go. So my first goal is that I want to publish and release my first book, Deus Ex Mechanic. I mentioned it in my first video about how my publisher that I'd found for that book went bankrupt just before publication, and if you want to watch that, then you can on my channel. So I want to publish and release Deus Ex Mechanic, which is the first book in the series, which is still unnamed. I have a few series ideas kicking around as to the names, but I haven't really settled on one yet. Nothing has really jumped out at me. And the name for Deus Ex Mechanic did jump out at me, which is why I've stuck with that title, and it's why, anyway. So my goal is that I would like to publish and release Deus Ex Mechanic, and I'm hoping to have it up for pre-order at the end of February, fingers crossed, depending on some formatting. I wrote it in Word, and when I made some strange formatting choices, I don't know why. So now I'm having to put it into Scrivener so that I can work on formatting it for EPUBs and for paperbacks, and it's taking a long time to undo all of the strange, weird formatting that I did, which is frustrating, but my own fault. I cannot blame anyone but myself. But I'm hoping to have that up for pre-order at the end of February, and I'm hoping to launch it in late April if I'm able to go to EasterCon in Birmingham, which I'm really hoping that I'm going to be able to do, but I'm not sure. So that is my very first goal for 2020. I am sort of doing these in chronological order as to how I assume that they're going to work out, but you never know. So my second goal for 2020 is to finish and release book 2 of that series, which is as yet unnamed. So if you have any ideas for murder or alcohol puns, you can drop them into the comments and maybe it will inspire me to come up with a title that I don't hate. I've had a few different working titles and none of them have felt right to me. So I'm still working on a title for book 2, but I'm hoping to have the first draft finished by the end of this month, and then it will be edited, and then it will go to my editor, and so on and so forth on down the line, and then I'm hoping to release it late this year. My third goal for 2020 is that I would like to finish drafting book 3, which still doesn't have a name. I have a vague idea of how I want the plot to go, but yeah, I don't know. I have a vague idea of how I want the plot to go. I had to run an errand in town yesterday and had to walk because our car is out of commission. And I was really crabby about having to walk into town, but I took the river path back. So I didn't go straight in and back. I sort of did like a loop thing. And I took the river path back and I had some space in my head to think, and I got a really good idea for book 3 as to how I want to sort of seed that in book 2. So I'm really excited about that, actually. It just goes to show you that sometimes you just need a change of scenery, a change of environment. It can really just spark an idea, even though the idea that I got had nothing to do with anything that I was witnessing on my walk back from town. So I would like to have that third book drafted by the end of the year, and I don't think that I will be able to have it, released this year. I think it won't release until next year, but I'm hoping to have it drafted and maybe done with edits, maybe in with the editor by the end of the year. It's really going to depend on what happens this year. We're sort of facing down some big potential changes with regards to moving and immigration visas and all this kind of stuff that I'm not going to get into in this video, but it's potential that the year's going to look a little bit topsy-turvy. So I don't want to, over-plan or over-goal and then feel crappy at the end of the year when I wasn't able to do all of this stuff when it really wasn't necessarily my fault. My fourth goal for this year is to kind of finish and rewrite another book that I have mostly written. It is going to be called In Pursuit of Magic, and the vague idea is that it's a magic hunter and a magic user and how they have to kind of work together etc. So I've mentioned this in my other video, but the story, it has a lot of good bones, I would say. There's a lot of good ideas and themes, and I think that the characterization is almost there, but it does need quite a lot of work. It needs some scenes added to fix some continuity errors. It does need a lot of work, which is why I decided not to work on finishing that during NaNoWriMo a couple of months ago, and why I decided to start book 2 of this series instead, which is now almost done drafting, which is pretty good, I think. So that said, I do hope that I can get a rewrite in to make it, you know, presentable to send to an editor, and I can start thinking about book 2, but that is sort of framed in my head as being a trilogy. I don't have a name for that trilogy yet. I just know that the first book will be called In Pursuit of Magic, and I have no idea when I'm going to be looking at publication for that. It really depends on how quickly and effectively I'm able to fix the problems in the story that need fixing, which they do need fixing. They need a lot of fixing. And then maybe in 2021 I'll get the chance to write book 2, as well as maybe books 4 and 5 of the other series. I'm not sure. I don't want to plan too far. Like I said, there's a lot of big things that could potentially be changing, which would, you know, shorten my time that I have every day to write if I'm having to do things like pack up my whole life, if I'm having to do things like look for apartments, which is not a thing anyone wants to do. So yeah, anyway, this is a relatively short video, but those are my author goals for 2020. Thank you for watching. Please do like and subscribe, and like I said, if you have any fantastic murder or alcohol puns, please do drop them into the comments to potentially inspire me for a title for book 2 of the series that I'm currently working on, which might be called The Cricket Chronicles. I'm not sure. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.